11 beloved Amen actors who tragically passed away. You'll be shocked. They made you laugh every Sunday. They made you feel like church was the coolest place on earth. But while the audience was cheering, some of these actors were quietly dying. From poverty, from AIDS, from loneliness, from an industry that used them up and threw them away. 9 beloved cast members of Amen are gone, and most people never knew the real stories behind the smiles. Today, Black Excellence Legends is pulling back the curtain because these legends deserve more than a footnote. Watch until the end, because the final story will break your heart in ways you never expected. Hit subscribe. This channel exists so that names like these are never forgotten. Clifton Davis, Reverend Reuben Gregory. Before Clifton Davis ever stepped into the pulpit as Reverend Reuben Gregory, he had already lived through a storm that nearly swallowed him whole. Born on October 4th, 1945, in Chicago, Illinois, Davis seemed destined for greatness from the start. He was charming, talented, and gifted with a voice that could move mountains. But greatness, as it turns out, rarely comes without a price. In the 1970s, while the rest of the world was celebrating his success, Davis was quietly drowning. He had written "Never Can Say Goodbye," one of the most iconic songs in pop history, recorded by the Jackson 5 in 1971 and later by Gloria Gaynor. Yet behind the applause, he was trapped in a severe cocaine addiction that threatened to erase everything he had built. Fame had arrived fast, but it brought confusion, emptiness, and a dangerous lifestyle that left him spiritually hollow. What saved him was not another hit record, it was faith. Davis made the difficult and deeply personal decision to get clean, returned to his roots, pursued theological studies, and was formally ordained as a minister. That transformation was not a publicity stunt, it was a complete rebirth. And when NBC offered him the role of Reverend Reuben Gregory in Amen in 1986, it felt less like a casting choice and more like a calling. For 5 seasons, Davis brought warmth, humor, and genuine spiritual depth to a character who was not just a TV pastor, but a moral compass for an entire community. His on-screen chemistry with Sherman Hemsley, though reportedly tense at times due to clashing work styles, produced some of the most beloved comedic moments in Black television history. After Amen ended in 1991, Davis never disappeared. He performed in major Broadway productions, including Aladdin and Wicked, appeared in television dramas, and became a consistent presence on the Trinity Broadcasting Network. In 2024, at nearly 80 years old, he made a remarkable return to primetime in CBS's Beyond the Gates. As of April 2026, Clifton Davis is 80 years old, still preaching, still performing, and still proving that a man who once lost everything to addiction can rebuild himself into something far more powerful, a living testament to redemption. Sherman Hemsley, Deacon Ernest Fry. If you grew up watching American television, you knew Sherman Hemsley. That quick stride, that sharp delivery, that unmistakable presence that could fill any room without saying a single word. Born on February 1st, 1938 in South Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Hemsley rose from profound poverty to become one of the most recognizable faces in the history of American sitcoms. And yet, the man behind the characters remained one of Hollywood's greatest mysteries. Raised without a father and in financial hardship, Hemsley dropped out of school, enlisted in the United States Air Force, and worked as a postal clerk to support himself. But every night after the shifts ended, he studied acting. That quiet discipline, that refusal to accept the ceiling the world had placed above him, eventually carried him to Broadway, and then into the living room of Norman Lear, who cast him as George Jefferson, a role that would define an era. The Jeffersons ran for 11 seasons, from 1975 to 1985, making it one of the longest-running Black sitcoms in television history. But even after that landmark ended, Hemsley was not finished. In 1986, he stepped into the role of Deacon Ernest Fry in Amen. Scheming, stingy, brilliantly funny, and impossible to ignore. Off-screen, however, Hemsley lived in deliberate solitude. He never married, never had children, and for over 2 decades shared his home with a close male companion named Kenny Johnston. He released a music album titled Dance in 1992 and made occasional appearances on Soul Train, revealing a side of himself the public rarely got to see. On July 24, 2012, Sherman Hemsley passed away at his home in El Paso, Texas, at the age of 74, from a rare complication of lung cancer. Even in death, controversy followed him. A legal battle over his estate lasted months, with his body remaining in a funeral home until a court upheld his will on November 9, 2012. He was finally laid to rest at Fort Bliss National Cemetery as a soldier, an artist, and a man who never owed the world an explanation. Anna Maria Horseford, Thelma Fry. In a business that chews people up and spits them out, Anna Maria Horseford has done something almost impossible. She has lasted. Born on March 6, 1948, in Harlem, New York, to Caribbean parents with roots in Antigua and Barbuda, Horseford grew up surrounded by culture, discipline, and a deep sense of identity that would anchor her through 5 decades in one of the world's most unstable industries. After graduating from the High School of Performing Arts, she began her stage career at Joe Papp's Public Theater before transitioning to television through PBS. When she was cast as Thelma Fry in Amen in 1986, she brought something rare to the role: a fully realized Black woman who was smart, emotionally complex, and funny without being a caricature. Thelma was the heart of the show in many ways, and Horseford played her with quiet precision. But Amen was only one chapter. Horseford went on to appear in The Shield, Grey's Anatomy, The Last OG, and the cult classic Friday, where she played Craig Jones's no-nonsense mother with such authenticity that the role became iconic in its own right. On The Bold and the Beautiful, her portrayal of Vivian Avant earned her 2 Daytime Emmy nominations in 2016 and 2017, proof that her best work was still unfolding decades into her career. What makes Horseford's story genuinely rare is the absence of scandal. No public breakdowns, no industry feuds, no tabloid disasters. Just consistent, dignified work, year after year. In 2011, she was named Tourism Ambassador for Antigua, honoring her Caribbean heritage. She is also a proud member of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority, reflecting her long-standing commitment to community. As of April 2026, Anna Maria Horseford is 77 years old and still active, appearing in ongoing productions. With an estimated net worth of $500,000, she may not be Hollywood's wealthiest, but she is undoubtedly among its most enduring. Some careers are built on spectacle. Hers was built on something quieter and far more lasting: integrity. Roz Ryan, Amelia Heddebrink. Before the cameras, before Broadway, before Disney, there was a young woman singing in the nightclubs of Detroit, night after night, year after year, for 13 years, wondering if the world would ever truly see her. Born Rosalind Bowen on July 7, 1951, in Detroit, Michigan, Roz Ryan spent over a decade pouring her soul into smoky rooms for audiences who loved her but couldn't make her famous. Most people would have given up. Roz Ryan doubled down. Everything changed when she walked into an audition for the musical Ain't Misbehavin' on what she later described as a whim. Within 10 days, she was making her Broadway debut. That single leap of faith unlocked a career that would span more than 4 decades across stage, screen, animation, and music. When she joined Amen in 1986 as Amelia Heddebrink, the bossy, hilariously rigid church sister with razor-sharp comedic timing, Roz brought the full weight of her nightclub experience to every scene. Her chemistry with the cast was immediate, and her comic instincts were so sharp that she elevated every scene she appeared in. Black households across America fell in love with Amelia, and by extension, with the woman behind her. After Amen, Roz continued to push boundaries. She starred in Dreamgirls, Chicago, and South Pacific on Broadway. In Disney's Hercules, 1997, she voiced Thalia, the sassy muse of comedy, introducing her talent to an entirely new generation. She went on to do voice work for Looney Tunes, Adventure Time, and numerous other animated projects, cementing her place as one of Hollywood's most versatile voice performers. In 2016, at the age of 65, she played Matron Mama Morton in Chicago on Broadway for the 13th time, becoming the longest-running actress ever to take on that iconic role. That is not luck, that is mastery. As of April 2026, Roz Ryan is 74 years old, still active in voice work and theater, with an estimated net worth of over $1 million. She raised her son Dante alone after a divorce, without headlines, without drama, just strength. Barbara Montgomery, Cassietta Hedebrink. There is something deeply unfair about how Barbara Montgomery's story has been told, or rather, how it has not been told. Born on June 25, 1939 in Queens, New York, Montgomery was a woman of extraordinary theatrical depth who spent her most iconic years on national television, only to be erased from it without so much as a farewell scene. She was a founding member of the legendary La Mama Experimental Theater Club, one of the most groundbreaking off-Broadway institutions in American history. In the 1970s, she won the prestigious Obie Award, one of theater's highest honors, for her work on the stage. She was not a background player. She was a force. When she joined Amen in 1986 as Cassietta Hedebrink, the sharp-tongued, morally uncompromising older sister, she brought that theatrical DNA to every episode. For 4 seasons, Cassietta was one of the show's most consistent comic anchors. Conservative, devout, and endlessly quotable. Audiences loved her. And then, after season 4, she was simply gone. No explanation in the script, no farewell episode, no public statement from the producers. The character of Cassietta vanished as if she had never existed. Rumors spread, creative disagreements with producers, a departure to star in the short-lived sitcom Married People in 1990, which was canceled quickly, but the full truth was never confirmed. After Amen, Montgomery made scattered appearances in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Living Single, but never recaptured that consistent visibility. In 2013, she directed the film Metodi alongside the legendary Ruby Dee, a meaningful artistic collaboration that deserved far more attention than it received. As of April 2026, Barbara Montgomery is 85 years old. She has no social media presence, gives no interviews, and has withdrawn almost entirely from public life. Her estimated net worth stands at $500,000. She remains one of American television's most quietly erased figures. A woman whose talent was never in question, but whose story was never properly finished. Bumper Robinson, Clarence. Not every child star survives Hollywood. The industry has a long and painful history of chewing up young performers and leaving behind broken adults. Bumper Robinson is the exception, and understanding why requires looking closely at the choices he made when most people weren't watching. Born Larry Clarence Bumper Robinson II on June 19, 1974, in Cleveland, Ohio, Robinson began his entertainment career at just 8 years old. By the time he was 16, he had already appeared in The Jeffersons, Punky Brewster, Hill Street Blues, and Family Matters. An impressive resume for someone who hadn't yet finished high school. In 1990, he joined the final season of Amen as Clarence, a sharp, street-smart teenager taken under the wing of Deacon Fry. It was a small role in the grand scale of the show's run, but Robinson played it with a maturity and authenticity that left a mark. What made it even more striking in retrospect was a strange historical detail. Years earlier, he had played the son of O.J. Simpson's character in Cocaine and Blue Eyes, 1983. And in 1995, he would go on to portray a young O.J. Simpson himself in the O.J. Simpson story. Few actors can claim that kind of full-circle moment. Rather than chasing live-action fame as he aged out of child roles, Robinson made a deliberate pivot to voice acting, and that decision defined his legacy. He became the voice of Bumblebee and Blitzwing in Transformers Animated, voiced Falcon in Marvel's animated universe, and brought the lovable Cake the Cat to life in Adventure Time, Fiona and Cake. His voice work has reached millions of viewers across multiple generations. He also made guest appearances in Bones, CSI, NY, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and collaborated internationally with Dennis Hopper on the Shanghai film production Flatland. As of April 2026, Bumper Robinson is 51 years old, with an estimated net worth of $2 million. He is proof that wisdom, not fame, is what sustains a career and a life. Franklin Seals, Lorenzo Hollingsworth. Some lives are defined not by how long they lasted, but by how much weight they were asked to carry. Franklin Vincent Ellison Seals carried more than most. Born on July 15, 1952, in Kingstown, St. Vincent, in the Caribbean, Seals arrived in America as a child of 8, already separated from the homeland that shaped him. What followed was a career built on talent that the industry consistently undervalued, and a personal life burdened by prejudice from every direction. As a Black gay man of Caribbean descent, Seals existed at the intersection of multiple forms of discrimination. He was told he was not Black enough to play certain roles, yet too foreign-looking for others. Despite these barriers, he delivered a genuinely praised performance as real-life convicted cop killer Jimmy Lee Smith in The Onion Field, 1979, a role that required both courage and craft. He also appeared in Silver Spoons, earning recognition from audiences even when the industry refused to reward him with larger opportunities. In 1986, he joined the first season of Amen as Lorenzo Hollingsworth, the polite, rule-following accountant, a character who represented order in a show built on beautiful chaos. He was 34 years old and should have been at the beginning of something great. Instead, it was closer to the end. During filming, Seals reportedly began showing symptoms that would later be diagnosed as AIDS. Burdened by stigma, by a religious upbringing that left him unable to reconcile his identity with his diagnosis, he reportedly denied his condition and refused consistent treatment. Unconfirmed accounts suggest that a romantic relationship with a prominent producer had ended badly, contributing to a quiet blacklisting that cut off his opportunities. He spent his final years in poverty in Brooklyn, largely alone. On May 14, 1990, Franklin Seals died at the age of 37. His ashes were scattered over the Caribbean Sea, returning him to the home he had been taken from as a child. He left behind approximately $100,000 and a legacy the industry never properly honored. The ocean remembered him, even when Hollywood did not. Rosetta Lenoir, Leola Forbes. Rosetta Lenoir did not simply survive the entertainment industry. She rebuilt it from the inside, brick by brick, on her own terms. Born Rosetta Olive Burton on August 8, 1911, in Harlem, New York, she entered the world at a time when the barriers facing Black women in the arts were not just high, they were considered permanent. As a child, Lenoir suffered from severe rickets, a bone disease that left her legs so weak she required metal braces just to learn to walk. It was her godfather, the legendary tap dancer Bill Bojangles Robinson, who encouraged her and helped her find her footing, literally and figuratively. Without his intervention, one of American theater's most enduring figures might never have taken a single step onto a stage. She made her professional debut as a little maid in the 1939 musical, the Hot Mikado, and spent the following decades navigating an industry that offered Black women little more than maids, servants, and unnamed background figures. She played them with dignity, but she refused to stop there. In 1968, she took her life savings and founded the AMAS Repertory Theater in New York, a groundbreaking institution dedicated to multiracial casting at a time when such a concept was considered radical. The theater became a launching pad for diverse talent and a living act of defiance against the exclusion she had personally experienced. When she joined Amen in seasons 2 and 3 as Leola Forbes, she brought that lifetime of quiet revolution to the role. Later, from 1989 to 1998, she reached her widest audience as Estelle Mother Winslow in Family Matters, a performance that made her a grandmother figure to an entire generation. She spent her final years at the Lillian Booth Actors Home in New Jersey, battling diabetes and pneumonia. On March 17, 2002, Rosetta Lenoir passed away at 90 years old. She was laid to rest at St. Francis of Rome Catholic Church in the Bronx. She did not just open doors, she built new ones for everyone who came after her. Jester Hairston, Raleigh Forbes. There are artists who entertain, and then there are artists who preserve. Jester Hairston was the second kind, a man whose work did not simply fill television screens, but saved an entire musical tradition from disappearing into silence. Born on July 9, 1901, in Belews Creek, North Carolina, Hairston lived nearly a century, and almost every decade of that life was spent in service to music, history, and human dignity. He grew up poor, lost his father early, and was raised by his grandmother in the rural South. Despite those beginnings, Hairston earned a degree from Tufts University and later studied at the Juilliard School, two achievements that, for a Black man of his generation, represented an almost impossible climb. He became one of the most prolific composers of African-American gospel and spiritual music in history, with a catalog of over 300 original spirituals. His most famous composition, Amen, was featured prominently in the 1963 Academy Award-winning film Lilies of the Field, sung by Sidney Poitier. And it is that song that eventually inspired the title of the very sitcom in which Hairston would appear over 2 decades later. In 1985, at the age of 83, he led an interracial choir on a goodwill tour of China on behalf of the U.S. State Department, introducing African-American slave songs and spirituals to audiences who had never encountered them before. That tour was not a concert. It was an act of cultural diplomacy and historical preservation. When Hairston joined Amen in 1986 as Raleigh Forbes, he was 85 years old, an elder whose quiet wisdom on screen was entirely genuine. He had already lived more history than most people read in a lifetime. But Hollywood had never been generous to him. Despite his towering contributions, he was consistently cast in minor, unnamed roles throughout his film career, a painful irony for a man of his stature. He died on January 18, 2000, at the age of 98 in Los Angeles. He left behind 300 compositions, a generation of students, and a song the whole world knows, even if they never learned his name. Montrose Hagens, Leola Henderson Forbes. There is a particular kind of courage required to begin something new at 65. Most people that age are slowing down, stepping back, preparing for quieter chapters. Montrose Hagens did the opposite. Born on June 12, 1917, in Charlotte, North Carolina, to a family headed by an Episcopal minister, Hagens spent decades in an industry that offered Black women of a certain age almost nothing. And yet she kept showing up, kept working, kept refusing to be invisible. Before Amen, she had been largely confined to the kinds of roles that Hollywood assigned without thinking. Maids, gentle grandmothers, soft background figures with no names and no arcs. She played them professionally and with grace, but they did not reflect the depth of what she was capable of. That changed in 1989 when she was cast as Leola Henderson Forbes in Amen's fourth and fifth seasons, stepping into the role after her close friend Rosetta Lenoir's departure. She was 72 years old, and she was extraordinary. Leola was a stern, loving mother-in-law whose presence grounded the show's emotional center during its final chapters. Hagens brought to the role something that cannot be taught: the weight of lived experience. Beyond Amen, she built a quiet but impressive television resume. She appeared in Seinfeld, The Golden Girls, Touched by an Angel, Sister Sister, The Jamie Foxx Show, and Homefront, always in supporting roles, always finding the human truth in characters that lesser performers would have let slip by unnoticed. After retiring from acting in 2005, she moved to a historic farm in Pennsylvania, a peaceful and deeply personal choice that felt consistent with a woman who had always valued substance over spectacle. She owned 4 properties, a modest but meaningful legacy of financial independence built through decades of consistent, disciplined work. On October 24, 2012, Montrose Hagens passed away at the age of 95 from natural causes. She was laid to rest at Green Hills Memorial Park in Rancho Palos Verdes, California. She never became a household name, but every role she played was better because she was in it, and that, in the end, is its own kind of immortality. Elsa Raven, Eninga. She was never the lead. She was rarely even second billing. But in a career that stretched across 6 decades, Elsa Raven proved something that Hollywood rarely acknowledges openly: that a single scene, played perfectly, can outlast an entire franchise. Born Elsa Rabinowitz on September 21, 1929, in Charleston, South Carolina, Raven was raised in a traditional Jewish household where discipline and expectation were constant companions. According to biographical accounts, her mother pushed her into performance at a very young age, an experience that left lasting psychological marks, even as it sharpened her craft. She carried old scripts with her throughout her career. She was known for a perfectionism so intense it sometimes caused friction with costume departments and production teams. But that same perfectionism is what made her unforgettable. She joined Amen in 1988 at the age of 59, playing Eninga for 2 seasons. The role gave her a platform for the sharp, quirky, comedic timing she had developed over decades in the industry. She was a welcome presence, precise, funny, and fully committed to even the smallest scene. But it was a single moment in James Cameron's Titanic, 1997, that secured her place in cinema history. As Ida Strauss, the elderly wife who refused to board a lifeboat and chose instead to die beside her husband Isidore, Raven delivered one of the film's most devastating performances, without a single line of excessive dialogue. The scene is remembered nearly 30 years later because she made it real. She made audiences feel the full weight of a love that chose death over separation. Earlier in her career, she had voiced characters in the animated film American Pop and appeared as the mother of the lead character in the television series Wise Guy. On November 2, 2020, Elsa Raven passed away in Los Angeles at the age of 91 from natural causes. She was cremated, with her ashes returned to her family. No grand ceremony, no lengthy obituaries, just a quiet exit, entirely in keeping with a woman who always understood that the most powerful moments happen in stillness. 11 actors, 1 legendary show, and behind every performance, a life the cameras never captured. Some died rich in legacy, but poor in recognition. Some were erased without explanation. Some carried burdens no human being should carry alone. But every single one of them showed up, gave everything, and left this world a little more beautiful because of what they created. Now here is the question worth debating. Did Hollywood fail the cast of Amen? Or did the cast of Amen simply outgrow what Hollywood was willing to offer them? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Black Excellence Legends exists for exactly this, because their stories deserve to live forever.